Maybe we're just sleepwalking, but if you're here, thank you very much. You've arrived at another CiderTalk where it's too early in the morning to have deep conversations with anybody, but I've been up all night, so here we go. Hi, it's me, Cider Hype. I've made it home, by the way, just in case you're curious. This is not a stream from the hospital, in case you can't tell from the audio quality. I don't sound like I'm in a fishbowl anymore or in a Metal Gear game. So, hi. I am in better spirits. Yes, that's true. But man, being home has been one exhausting fucking trip, I'll tell you that. I was not anticipating how bad off I was from two back-to-back fucking surgeries. Holy cow. But I wanted to talk this morning about home, how important it is to have a home. Not like a castle or an apartment or someplace physical, but home. The feeling of belonging, the feeling of having somewhere to be when you're at someplace else, you know? They say home is where the heart is, and my heart's with my family. So home is wherever my family is. And that's my value. I grew up that way. We moved around a lot, so it wasn't the four walls that made a home. It was the people inside those walls that made a home. And that's what I encourage with a lot of people today is, especially millennials where we likely will never own a home, a physical four-wall home. I encourage people to find home inside of other people, inside of the hearts of their friends and their family members, because that's really where home is, honestly. If you ask yourself, deep down inside, is a home four walls or is it the people inside of it? Your heart's going to tell you it's the people inside of it. You don't think of the walls and the plaster and the light sockets when you think of home. You think of people there. You think of the birthdays celebrated there. You think of all the happy moments that were celebrated there, and maybe you think of some of the sad moments. But you're not thinking about the nails and the screws and all that jazz. It's the people. And home is such a complex thing too. It's not as simple as, oh, this is where I feel like I belong. You can feel like you belong at a bar, but it's home because home matters because it has the intrinsic value to your heart. You have to be there. You could spend all day at the bar, the amusement park, wherever you go when you're not working. But there's that nagging feeling, I belong somewhere else. I'm supposed to be somewhere else. I should be, or I want to be somewhere else. Sometimes that drives people to bars when they can't find that place. And that's why it's not four walls. Because you hear people all the time saying, I don't feel like I belong. I don't feel like I belong. And that has to deal with home, really. That's what it has to do with. And that's okay, though. Because again, these four walls aren't my home. My family is my home. And I hope someday that you guys know that too. If you don't already, anyway. Like I said, this is another cider talk in the morning. It's probably going to bounce around a lot, but I just couldn't have a deep conversation this early with anybody. It'd be kind of evil to do that to them. It's either really late for them or really early. And who wants to have deep conversations then, right? My problem is I don't know what to do for home when my family dies eventually. They're all older than me. Every last one of them. I'm the youngest of my family from all angles. And I'll be alone someday. So that sense of home, it has to belong to me. I have to establish what home is. I can't rely on other people to make a space for me to call home once my family's gone. I have to decide where that home is and who represents home to me. And that's what's been on my mind all night and into the morning is, what am I going to do when they're gone? What is going to be home when the people who represent it are all gone? Granted, I may have their ashes or whatever, so they're not gone in that sense. But, what do you do? What do you do? I've been trying to figure that out all night. That's what's been driving me nuts. Is where do you place the value of home when the people who represent home are gone? Are you capable of building a new home in your heart? Is that necessary? I don't know. It's really difficult to try and parse through that when there's no good answers. There's no good articles on the internet that talk about it really, and there's a lot of like coaching on how to deal with like when family members die and stuff like that. But that's pretty normal in my family, the death part. So it's just when all those bowling pins are knocked down. What do you do? So on the up and up, though, I am home. It's been quite a journey. I'll tell you that. I came back to a place I needed to put back together in order to function for me, and haven't quite made it happen yet. But home. It's nice to be here. It's nice to feel comfortable in my skin again and less like a science experiment. That's how the hospital makes you feel. You're under a microscope. There's people checking every aspect of you except what your taste buds are up to, because nobody cares in the hospital what your taste buds are up to, really. Least of all the fucking chefs. Oh my god. Are these prison chefs that like got a promotion? What happened, man? Hospital food. You think airplane food sucks? Holy hell. I think I had potatoes that were drier than sawdust. Like if I coughed, dust would come out instead of potato matter. It's just gross. This is really gross. So being out on the outside, out of hospital prison, if you will, that's been pretty fun, at least, and I'm able to use the voice chats more often. By the way, join Don John Del Don John Delaraz. Join his Discord, the Holy Legion. By the way, there's links in his chat for it. I can't be bothered. I'm sorry, but maybe I'll put it in the description after this video is over. But yeah, being back here has been pretty exhausting. Cooking meals all the time and having enough energy to do that's been the real kicker. Is being able to get up and do things, period. But you get cleared to go home from the hospital, whether you're ready to go or not. But for my mental health's sake, I had to go because there was no way I was gonna stay in that fucking box, locked in a bed. I had a bed alarm, so if I got up, like fucking National Guard would get called in to put me back in the bed, and that's embarrassing if you don't know. That's really humiliating when you can't even get out of bed. You literally have to stay in the bed 24/7 unless you ask permission to have a nurse walk you around the hallway, like a 45-foot hallway. You get to go up and down the hallway as many times as your heart delights. But that's it. You're not going anywhere else, Chief. You're not taking the elevator down to the parking lot. You're not going up to the roof. You are there on floor 4, motherfucker, and you're going nowhere else. And that's, God, that's so, I'm not claustrophobic or anything, but way to make a person feel shut in, to feel trapped. You're stuck in a bed unless you ask permission of your captors, of your zookeepers, to walk you around like a dog. That's what I would do, is I would ask the nurses, like, can you take me for walkies? I feel like I'm an animal anyway. And, plugged into 7 different machines, so I have to carry around what I called the tree of life, which had like all these different pumps and stuff that were sending shit into my arm, right into my heart, really, through the PICC line. Those are fun, by the way. If you ever happen to end up with a PICC line, those are a lot of fun because you don't get 1,000 needle pokes then. But it's just one giant fucking tube running into your heart, though. So be careful of that. Oh, hey, Sarah. I forgot to say hello to Perrette. Good morning, Perrette. Good afternoon, Sarah. I headed into the or late morning anyway. Thank you, Sarah. I hope I get better soon too. It's it's rough being weak like this after all those surgeries. I had 3 of them in the hospital just in like 3 weeks. So that's a lot of damage, as Phil Swift of Flex Tape would say. That's a lot of damage. And what do you know? They did not try to fix me with Flex Tape. I mean, that's probably the mistake they made. Is they should have sealed me back up with Flex Tape, and we wouldn't be here, right? If only it were that simple. Wow, that's a lot of damage. Yeah. So my body is like, hey, this living thing, you need to relax on it for a little while, okay? Back off. Take the foot off the pedal. Don't be so alive, kid. that's that's what my body's doing to me, and that's why I'm thinking about home and people and what determines home. Because my body's telling me like, hey man, you need to really think about what you're up to here. Got to really weigh out the purpose of each action you make. So, oh well. I'm sorry I'm not more active, but it is 4:30 in the morning where I am, so you'll have to excuse me if I'm not so vim and vigor this morning. Uh, I hope you're all well, though. That's the best part, is that I hope you're all well, especially the people um, listening to this in the replay. I know things are tough right now, especially with gas like approaching $10 in some parts of our country, believe it or not. So I know things are very difficult, and I hope that your sense of home is very strong right now, especially if you're paying almost $10 per gallon of gas. I really hope that you have a good sense of home and a good sense of the people there that make it home. Yeah, I'm sorry. I got wrapped up in my head for a second there. I write. That's what I do. I write. Mostly the pain has been too much to do much of anything other than just take care of the meals, make sure that everyone's comfortable and taken care of, and then try to find somewhere to rest for a little while. I because of the nature of this disease, I have to wear a bag that captures the waste my body produces. It's been very difficult to get a seal on that, so I've had a hard time here the past couple of days just getting any kind of rest because of it. Excuse me a moment, I have a fuzz in my throat. The So that's been fun. Every 2 to 12 hours, I'm having to change the bag because the seal is lost. So that's been really fun. That's just been a real good way to pass the time, is trying to sneak naps in between bag changes. But that's the way it's going to be for the next 4 to 6 weeks before I go in for yet another surgery to have some more stuff corrected. You just gotta love it. It comes in waves, I guess. Hopefully next year I won't have any problems and I can get everything I need done. Um, Speaking of getting things done, I have decided to cut the colossals down. Right. Um, some of you may have questions about that because the way the refund was done. The refund was done because of the typhoon. I want to explain that. I've had a lot of people come to me in DMs and ask me what's going on and stuff like that. I am not. I'm not interested in having a guy go through a Category 5 typhoon hitting his city and then asking him to produce 6 pages a month still. I'm not comfortable with that. I didn't like that arrangement in any way, shape, or form. So that's how that goes. Sarah says, "Are you in there until next surgery?" No, no, they let me out of the hospital. I'm home now. This is why the audio's different. I'm home now, but I'll have to go back beginning of June probably, and have things corrected if I can last that long with this thing. It's very cumbersome. But yeah, the Colossals. What we were advertising before was 64 pages. We're going to break it up down into 24 pages ago. So what we're going to be advertising in here in July is oh, hey, George is here. Good morning. I didn't expect you to be up this early. Good morning. So you'll be getting part 1 in July when we start advertising it. We broke it down into 24 pages a piece, so that means there'll be arguably more content in it as we go forward. So technically it's a bit expanded on what the original 64 would be because of it being broken up. You can, add and subtract certain things because the story flows differently. Which is great, really. It worked out in the best way possible. So that'll be going on in July. And there was a disturbance in the force, George says. Yeah, well, it's one of those things where, I didn't think anybody was up and wanted to have deep conversations this early. And home was on my mind, and now it's not, as you can see, as I'm stumbling through talking about things. But yeah, as a reminder about the Colossals, that is how things are going to go forward with the remix. That's what I'm calling it, is Colossals Remix, by the way. That'll be what's on the campaign titles. So when you see that, that's us. I'm lucky that Leandro likes this story so much that he wants to still work on it after a fucking typhoon hit his city. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to have somebody that dedicated to the craft. See, Leandro helps me feel at home, if you will, making comics. It's one of the parts that helps make me feel at home in this medium, in this industry, is to have support like that. It's to have someone like that who's like, doesn't matter when we get back to it, I want to get back to it. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Oh, George says, I'm going to EFAP this like JDA does Liam. Tell me something insane, juicy, and stupid. Peter Cimeti has bat wings. There you go. You can run with it. Yep. I heard that from, who's that guy? Who's the guy? Mark Brooks. Yeah, Mark Brooks told me that Peter Cimeti has bat wings. Yep. Yep. Is that crazy enough, George? Is that crazy enough? I don't know. I'm not a real good arbiter of crazy at 4:34 a.m. You have to. Peter Cimeti and his bat wings. You would never would have guessed, would you, people? No. That's the 12th level intellect that I have. You see, I have access to people like Mark Brooks to tell me these things. Whoever that guy is. I think I'm getting the name right. I think it's Mark or Matt Brooks. I don't know. There's so many Matts running around. They started a show. There's so many Matts. No, I'm sorry. It's barely worth watching live. It's just, me being awake too long and deciding to talk to the internet about my internal dialogue rather than keeping it internal. But let's see. I think I'll show that off. Why not? It's kind of neat. No, that's not a button that works. Okay. Sorry, folks. It's not my first time using this, but it certainly is the most annoying time, that's for sure. But no, I don't even know where that got put now. That's fantastic. Gotta love it. There it is. There. And there's a button you could share the screen with. I know what I'm doing, trust me. It just doesn't look like it at all in any way, shape, or form. But I do know what I'm doing. All right. So there it is. That is the Colossals remix. There. That is the Colossals remix cover. I'll just say the Colossals on it as it did before, but that'll be for the remix campaign. Um, George had a really good suggestion for this in that, you know, he should like do a motif of the giant size X-Men #1, where like all the characters are ripping through the page and stuff. So I had like this smoke portal open up, this red smoke portal open up, and the monsters are kind of coming through the portal in front of all the heroes, and the heroes, of course, are worried and shocked and surprised. See Isaac up in the back corner there. I mean, he looks pretty surprised, doesn't he? I mean, Home Alone surprised, right? Yeah. Kind of reminds me of Macaulay Culkin, even. But, you know, that kind of surprised. And this turned out amazing, in my opinion. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but holy cow, everybody's colors came through so nicely. And then the shark monsters, I think they're adorable, by the way. Like, look his little eye. Look at his little eye. He's roaring so hard. His little eye is like, I'm so angry. I'm a shark monster. Arr. It's adorable. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. But really, you could thank George. He came up with a suggestion to go with it. And of course, Leandro's art style just kicks it right out of the park. So yeah, the first one I wanted to really be able to tell you the whole story of the book right on the cover. So when you close the cover after reading it, you're like, God damn, the whole story is right there. But it just kind of it landed a little flat, I guess. So we'll save that for the omnibus. It'd be a good omnibus cover. And right here, though, this will be part 1. This is the cover for part 1 because it's all about those shark monsters, baby. All about those shark monsters. Yeah. I'll have a sign up page for this soon. That way we can get on board with it and see what's going on, how many people want to come back and give it another go. But this time, though, we are going to have the books printed before we go to Indiegogo. Okay? That's right. There will be physical books in my hand before I go live on Indiegogo. You want to know why? You want to know why? I do not want to get screwed by Mother Nature again. No way, no how do I want to get screwed over by Mother Nature again. So everything will be in place. I'm also going to go with Critical Blast's distribution. If you don't already know about that, please get in contact with Critical Blast. I think he's at Critical Blast on Indiegogo, not Indiegogo, Twitter. And he, that's a fulfillment house. That is someone that will box and bag things for you that you're good to go, or bag and box things, whichever order you want, really. and take care of fulfillment for you. And because of like the way my body is, I didn't want to take the risk of not being able to do fulfillment. I didn't want Mother Nature screwing me over. So I took George's advice and I talked with Critical Blast about this. And what do you know? It's pretty good. And I highly recommend other people look into it too. But the #1 will be fulfilled through there. So he'll be sending out that stuff, and then I don't have to worry about being in or out of the hospital, how well I'm lasting after surgery or whatever. It's out of my hands, you know. I just had to make sure that everything gets sent to the appropriate people. And like I said, the books will be in my hand before we go live on Indiegogo or any other platform. Could be Kickstarter too, because I don't know. Might try it over there. It's not too bad of a place. I bought some robots from Kickstarter once, and they showed up. I never put them together though. Oh well. I'm not a robotics expert. I just think they're cool. So I have a couple of DIY robots hanging around. Should show them off sometime. Yeah, this is I'm sorry, I get overwhelmed looking at this sometimes because of just how goddamn cool it is. Like how lucky am I, right? To have all this, you know, like this is my superhero team. They're all so colorful and individual and different. And apparently, Delilah has gigantic boobs. Oh, that's her shoulder. Okay. Well, holy cow. But I didn't mean that pun like that. Oh, well. But I've reached the end of what I have to talk about. So thank you all very much for stopping by. And I'll talk more about the Colossal sometime when it's less 4:41 a.m. in the morning. What else does AM mean? But anyway, yeah. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to me talk about absolutely nothing and then leave you like this. But yeah, think about home, really, because it's important.
COVID testing the potatoes. Come on. Oh no, it's got the COVID-19. The potatoes got the COVID-19. Oh no, the potatoes got.
And also keep the COVID out of your potatoes. Maybe we're just sleepwalking. I know I was when I started this broadcast, and I hope wherever you are, it's a better, brighter day.